Umubavu, a journalist, threatened and intimidated by some people due to an older woman, Nkundabanyanga, who is in prison for Gacaca's case through an unlawful processing. Few days ago, Umubavu TV Online and Umubavu.com reported to us that the Rwandan issue of a woman named Nkundabanyanga Eugenie had been sold by her children illegally after being intimidated and not only threatened by Karangwa. Afterward, Nkundabanyanga was immediately arrested by the police on CNLG warrant apparently issued by Karangwa and handed over to friends police officer who shared a couple of coffee and some bottle of beer with him for some couple of years. Karangwa spoken to someone who told him that the father of an angry journalist, Nsengimana Theoneste, had committed genocide, while the journalist said that his father had died at 3 months and that he did not know him. There is a genocide against the Tutsi. His father died before 7 years. I guess an ideology of genocide was not yet in many Rwandans' heads by then. After person talked to Karangwa, spoken to him that Nkundabanyanga's case was serious and that the Umubavu journalist had to be careful because he did not know what he was up to. That Umubavu journalist doesn't know what he's playing with, not only who am I. Finally, the person went Karangwa's to have a better understanding about Umubavu impact will be assured. Umubavu TV Online and Umubavu.com, we want to know the truth. This arrest information, we approached one of patron from Karangwa's to May on his relevant round. He said Nkundabanyanga and told us that indeed the policeman was also rewarded by Karangwa because they were neighbor. The resident said that Karangwa saw him and went to testify in a court that the land he was cultivating belonged to Nkundabanyanga, and that the friends of Karangwa's friend also took the land and told him that he did not know what he's not doing. Virginia is the daughter of Nkundabanyanga Eugenie, told angry and aggressively that her brother had been killed by his fellow Interahamwe in the landing up to the genocide against the Tutsi in order to break a secret of Tutsis who are on the list. As we begin the story, the Umubavu journalist was threatened at various times when he was asking by another journalist to make a biased story, and this another journalist was paid by Karangwa. Therefore, we as Umubavu.com and Umubavu TV Online knew him and refused him. A person who did not want to be named told Umubavu.com and Umubavu TV Online that he have heard Karangwa spoken on his mobile phone that they were in a fight, and told someone that they were telling about what they should stop attending the press because they were being voting for them to be ready to drop bomb on those journalists. A person who did not want to be named told Umubavu.com that he heard Karangwa speak on his mobile phone that they were in a fight, and told someone they were telling about that they should stop attending the press because they will be voting for them to be ready to draw bomb on those journalists. Karangwa himself called the Umubavu journalist and told him that it was in Kilo when Nkundabanyanga was staying with the local authority for information regarding the suspected intimidation of Nkundabanyanga's family at various times. Karangwa told the Umubavu TV Online and Umubavu.com that they should not be included in the media because that they should go to the RIB station, that we should not touch on the news because we are trending and selling and trading rumors. Only he came to allow us to talk to us, but later he refused to come, and even for the first time he did so. He concluded gave us no reason why he did that, but we have noticed that the day he had gave to us that we were going to have a conversation, and he refused to let us talk to him, and that he was also staging where the problem was that, and the media outlet and conveying it. But we have noticed that the day he had given us that we were going to have a conversation, and he refused to let us talk with him, said that there was a stage where the problem was done by another media outlet and they conveying it. Nkundabanyanga's lawyer said that family didn't involved in a killing. Karangwa asked us to talk to some of genocide survivor, and later told us that the story of Nkundabanyanga. Karangwa asked us to talk to some of the genocide survivor that took place in 1994, and later told us that the story of Nkundabanyanga. But some of the suspected Karangwa used to cheat the land include Claude, who came to tell us that ask about to talk, given an information to publish all the news in order to look for justice and write on the resource. Karangwa asked us to talk to some of the survivor on genocide during 1994, and later told us the story of Nkundabanyanga. But some of suspected Karangwa used to cheat the land include Claude, who came to call us and asked us to talk and give us much information to publish all the news in order to look for justice and write on their resources. We came to know that he had once represented the genocide survivor in Mulambi cell. He allowed us to talk, but later he refused us because we had an exchanged plan when he told us that he had gone to Bugesera and ended up misleading of our time. It is so called that the ambassador provided an information to Hussein during the telephone conversation with Hussein. According to Umubavu.com, Claude escaped from the army and later married the genocide survivor, and also the later became a president of the genocide survivor in Nyanza cell. Instead of presenting survivor of Nyanza cell in Gacaca sector, he trapped some people. Nearly of the one who learned that he lived next door to him has something to say and talk to us. Some Gacacas honestly disagree over the land was sold. Mukankusi Francis was both Gacaca's conspirator because Mukankusi said she had nothing to complain about to the Nkundabanyanga family, that they had property, and also based on its fact that she was handling Gacaca's person at the cell level, which was also the property counter in lawsuit. While the first vice president of Gacaca's committee said that Nkundabanyanga Eugenia's property was sold on Gacaca's certificate, he added that Eugenia Nkundabanyanga had been sentenced to 30 years for failing to appear in court. Nkundabanyanga's daughter, Umubavu Olive, said her sister Umubavu Teles sent her problem with poverty that they are selling 2 tracts of her home farm because her husband was faced illness and nowhere else to meet her help, and the Karangwa would buy it and tell them that if they did not give it to him, it will be sold by Gacaca and will end up on nothing from it. This is a construct to what a farmer told us. Teresa's son Lela died and sent her brother back and telling him that if they didn't sell it all soon, Gacaca will take it all away for free. They were under pressure from Karangwa. According to reporter, Nkundabanyanga was recently sent to Mageragere prison and Lela returned to Gikondo police station. It is suspected that Karangwa's friend, CIP Nsengimana Theoneste, was fired after his lawyer ordered the release of his client because he was being held illegally. Mr. Kanyabitalo Bonel, a lawyer, recently said that he had filed a complaint file based on the fact that Nkundabanyanga Eugenie was born with a legal right, therefore none who is responsible to mistreat her as if she is not a human being. In that aggressive file, he urged that in addition to the fact that his client was illegally imprisoned, she was also illegally detained because the provision of the law have not complied with an Article 20 of CPP, which stated that person banqueted by the police officer in investigation is ordered to respond to them, not be put into prison. If he does not attend, she does not attend, she may be forcibly brought to police station after being shown a letter of forcibly sent by the prosecutors and the court. Also under a provision of an Article 31, CIP Nsengimana Theoneste is the one who has an arrest warrant to Nkundabanyanga Eugenie should not have more than 5 days before handing it over to the petition party. In a complaint letter, he said that Nkundabanyanga Eugenie, who has been in prison of Station Police House for more than 14 days, she is still in the prison of Police Station House with no reason why, just because of injustice and using political force in individual benefits. She is imprisoned and there is no plan to release her or bring her to the present course, which is a serious problem because even today the rape and prosecutors are the one who imprisoned her, and she would not have been in prison for more than 10 days because they should bring her to the court in order to understand what is going on and why she is in trial at this level. The lawyer said that they also still wondering if Nkundabanyanga had been arrested based on Gacaca's decision and wondered if she will be finished her sentence in Gikondo police station cell, because if they found out reason and factor against her, they should have to hand her over to the jail, not to stay at the police station. Nkundabanyanga Eugenie also insistently said that no Gacaca's case convicted her because the defendant in the case is Nkundabanyanga. In this case is Nkundabanyanga, and she had been accused for changing her name several times to try to link her to those Gacaca's case, but the court confirmed that she did not change her name. The person in trial is Nkundabanyanga. This is not me, because she identified herself as Nkundabanyanga. Not only court agreed with her names. According to this factor, there is appear a big confusion in between a court and policemen who are listing her. The fact that the law provision for penalty requires that CIP Venuste Musabyimana be given to the penalty provided by the law. The detention referred to in the first paragraph of this articles included: 1. Detention of person in an unauthorized house. 2. Article say detention over provision of the arrest warrant and a pre-trial detention warrant. Article 3 number say to continue to detain a person who has made decision that does not allow or does not imprison him or her because the trial, or who agreed to provisionally released. Article 4 to remain in a custodial house. On 22nd April 2021, the leader of Gikondo police station CIP Venuste Musabyimana came to Nkundabanyanga's house in the morning without a warrant and took her to the police station where she was staying for times and times, and she is still in a prison and the court are not yet done its work.